tortoise lays on its back.
Interlinked.
Trying to turn itself over.
Interlinked.
But it can't.
Interlinked. Interlinked.
Not without your help.
Do you love me?
I love you.
Thanks for watching my analysis of Blade Runner, directed by Ridley Scott, co-written by Hampton, Fancher, and David Peoples, and based on Philip K. Dick's 1968 novel, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So, let's get started. Throughout history, humans have used stereotypes and propaganda to rationalize the mistreatment of other humans. After measuring the body parts of black people in his laboratory, 19th century American scientist Louis Agassiz said that blacks were an inferior species. Therefore, there was no moral conflict in subjecting blacks to slavery, lynchings, and brutality. Similarly, throughout the 1930s and 1940s in Nazi Germany, anti-Semitic stereotypes and propaganda depicting Jewish people as cancerous gave Nazis the moral justification to murder 6 million Jews.
Imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever.
And throughout Blade Runner, lab-grown, genetically modified human beings called replicants, referred to as skin jobs, phonies, and lacking the capacity to dream, love, or feel empathy for others, give society in the year 2019 the moral justification to use them as slaves, soldiers, minors, and pleasure models in off-world colonies, because in November 2019, killing human beings, replicants, and cockroaches is easy.
We need you, Sebastian. You're our best and only friend.
A man and a woman meet in a public place and strike up a conversation.
What's your name?
Pris.
They both feel that there might be something between them and set up a date. The guy is articulate.
Lady, shall I lie in your lap?
Witty, funny.
We're so happy you found us.
Intelligent to her. He sounds college educated, and they seem to have a lot in common and similar values. But when she asks him what he is, and he tells her that he's a janitor, everything changes. And when he calls her to meet for coffee, she doesn't return his call, and he doesn't get it. Seemed like everything was going fine when they met, until she found out what he was. In a materialistic world, you are not a person. You are a thing. And in Blade Runner, there is virtually no difference between humans and replicants, physically, emotionally, nor spiritually. In fact, replicants are so human that the Voight-Kampff empathy testers cannot distinguish them from real humans.
They're no damn different than you or me.
Unlike humans who see replicants as things, tools, and machines. Remember Blade Runner Holden? Captain Bryant sends him to the Tyrell Corporation to run Voight-Kampff empathy tests on new employees there after 6 replicants hijacked an off-world shuttle, killed 23 people, and attempted to break into the Tyrell Corporation. Captain Bryant wants Holden to test the company's new hires for replicants. One named Leon fails the Voight-Kampff test, shoots Holden in the back, and puts him on a breathing machine. This happens after Holden asks Leon a hypocritical Voight-Kampff question. Why would he, Leon, not help a turtle turn over if he saw it lying on its back and baking in the sun?
What do you mean I'm not helping?
This question is hypocritical because it can also be reversed to ask Holden why humans have absolutely no problem forcing replicants like Leon into slavery, compulsory sex, and combat situations on other planets. Holden has no problem with replicants like Leon suffering because they are things to him, and things don't possess human emotions such as hate, fear, love, anger, or envy. In the script, but not in the film, Deckard pays Holden a hospital visit to tell him that he killed Leon, but instead of feeling good about Deckard killing the replicant that shot him during the Voight-Kampff interrogation, Holden is insulted by Deckard's insinuation that he should feel avenged by him killing Leon, a thing, and not a human being incapable of good or evil. Holden goes on to compare Leon to a meat slicer to illustrate how irrational it would be for him to be angry at Leon, because in a materialistic world, replicants, no matter how human they seem, are only things, as humans in a materialistic world are defined by things. In fact, whenever we apply narrow definitions to human beings, we forget the fact that humans are complicated beings with the capacity to be many things: a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a father, a mother, a friend, or an artist. In fact, no one is just one thing. However, in Blade Runner, each Nexus 6 replicant is designed and built for one thing, such as Roy Batty, a combat model, or Pris, a pleasure model, or Zora, an assassin model, or Leon, a labor model. And Captain Bryant also sees Rick Deckard as one thing.
You're not cops, you're little people.
Enforcing him to take his old job back as a Blade Runner.
No choice, huh?
In order to hunt down Roy Batty and the other 4 replicants that hijacked an off-world shuttle and used it to return to Earth in order to get Eldon Tyrell, their creator, to tell them their incept dates. But being that replicants are outlawed on Earth, they are now fugitives and prey for Deckard, the Blade Runner. What gives the 5 replicants the potential to be human and not things such as combat models, pleasure models, assassin models, and labor models are their experiences and emotional responses such as hate, love, fear, anger, and envy that they develop on their own several years after their incept dates. Therefore, as a fail-safe mechanism to prevent them from accumulating enough experiences to develop their own emotions, Tyrell gave them 4-year lifespans and supplied them with false experiences and emotions that he copied and regenerated from human brain cells. But Eldon Tyrell does not account for the unknown capacity of the Nexus 6 replicants to develop their own experiences and emotions, like Roy Batty, who has seen attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion and C-beams glittering in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate, and Rachael, who has her first intimate experience with Deckard. She realizes after failing the Voight-Kampff test that she too is a replicant with only 4 years to live. All of her memories are the memories of Tyrell's 16-year-old niece, memories that he copied, regenerated, and transplanted into her brain. However, Deckard gives Rachael an experience and a memory of her own by making love to her. After being conditioned to see replicants as things, Deckard receives a first-hand education in the scene in which Leon beats him within an inch of his life. And he realizes for the first time how it feels to live in fear, not knowing that he can die at any moment.
Painful living fear, isn't it?
And then there's his showdown at the Bradbury building with Batty hounding him as he, as a Blade Runner, had hounded replicants. And Deckard also gets a taste of how it feels to be a slave when Captain Bryant forces him to take his old Blade Runner job back.
No choice, huh?
The Voight-Kampff empathy machine is designed to distinguish replicants from humans. Deckard runs the test on Rachael and she fails it, and yet when he is about to lose his life to Leon, another replicant, Rachael, a replicant herself, shoots and kills Leon to save Deckard, who later finds himself hanging off the ledge of the high-rise Hotel Bradbury while trying to get away from Roy Batty, who catches him and saves his life when he loses his grip. Roy, a replicant whom he had orders to kill Roy Batty, a lab-grown replicant that was destined to die before developing an emotion of its own, empathy. for Deckard, a Blade Runner who also develops empathy for replicants, despite the fact that Rachael failed the Voight-Kampff empathy test. Deckard realizes in running off with her and becoming a fugitive himself that she and Roy Batty were human and, in the end, had also taught him how to be human.
It's too bad she won't live.
Thanks for watching my analysis of director Ridley Scott's cyberpunk dystopian neo-noir thriller Blade Runner, and be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Godfather of cinema, and hit the bell for more film related videos like this one. I will see you soon.
It's okay to dream a little.
Not if you're us.
A child wanted.
Don't you love me?
Joe. It's okay to dream a little.
Thanks for watching my analysis of Blade Runner 2049, the 2017 cyberpunk neo-noir thriller directed by Denis Villeneuve, co-written by Hampton, Fancher, and Michael Green, and based on Philip K. Dick's 1968 novel Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
I always knew you were special.
Blade Runner 2049 is set in Los Angeles, California, 30 years after Blade Runner Rick Deckard disappeared with a replicant named Rachael that escaped from the Tyrell Corporation. 30-year-old Blade Runner K is dispatched to a worm form to retire a replicant field medic named Sapper Morton that went AWOL from an off-world war on Calantha. There, Kay also finds a footlocker under a dead tree containing the bones of a woman who died while giving birth 30 years ago.
Come on home for your baseline.
Kay is a replicant, and he has to take a baseline test each time he kills or retires another replicant. In this film, a baseline test is equivalent to the Voight-Kampff, except that instead of failing a replicant for his lack of empathy, the baseline test passes a replicant for his lack of empathy. To pass baseline, the pitch of the voice has to be flat,
Interlinked.
or completely unemotional. Fortunately for Kay, he passes his baseline after killing Sapper Morton, due to his belief that he does not have emotions or a soul to feel any remorse for Sapper Morton.
Attaboy.
Nor is Kay offended when a morgue tech named Coco makes replicant insensitive remarks, such as being surprised by the fact that a replicant savage like Sapper Morton would take the time to bury a woman's bones.
Sorry.
And as for the woman's dead baby, as far as Coco is concerned, Sapper probably ate it. And speaking of Coco, Kay's boss, Lieutenant Joshi, is also insensitive towards replicants like him. Upon seeing the blood, cuts and swellings on his face from his fight with Sapper,
You're hurt.
she makes it clear to him that she is more concerned about the bottom line than his injuries.
I'm not paying for that.
Also, in Kay's presence at the morgue, Joshi describes the dead replicant woman that gave birth as a thing instead of a person. She even calls Kay a boy, even though he is a 30-year-old man. In addition to having to deal with slurs and insensitive comments directed at his kind at work, fuck off, skin job, Kay has to deal with the same at his apartment complex. The complex is overcrowded and multi-ethnic. Humans on the bottom of society's social, economic, and genetic ladder are disqualified from living off-world among their genetic betters. But even so, the misfit humans of Kay's apartment complex still have a sense of genetic entitlement when they see Kay, a replicant, like the man who spits at Kay for greeting him, like the old woman walking into Kay because he is supposed to move out of her way.
I did it to you.
Like the children that gaze up at him in fear, like the words "fuck off Skinner" spray painted on his apartment door. All the doors of the other apartments at the complex are open, but his door remains closed. Even so, he looks out the window and sees a human couple in their apartment across the street kissing, as if to remind him that he, as a replicant, is isolated even among misfits. K settles in for dinner, a drink, and a night in with his own woman. Joy, a holographic projection of a woman, is as real to K as the unseen man who gives him his baseline test, or K himself, who exists out of sight and mind apart from humans, oblivious to the fact that he is a living being capable of feeling pain, dreaming and loving, invisible and yet real at the same time. And because of his insignificance as a replicant, K's deepest wish is to have a soul. So when Joshi sends him to the DNA base at police headquarters to look up children born on June the 10th, 2021, the date on the bottom of the wooden horse in his childhood memory, K knows that finding the child born on this date will be an important piece of evidence that the child may be him. But most importantly, being the child born on June the 10th, 2021 will also mean that he has a soul.
Of woman born.
However, tangible evidence alone will not prove that his memory is real, any more than syncing with the body of a real flesh and blood woman will make Joy a real woman, or any more than finding a wooden horse in a furnace will make his childhood memory of putting it there real. Not when there is a possibility that his memory is only an implant. Having a soul is K's lifelong dream. And when he sees the date carved on the root of the dead tree in Sapper Morton's front yard, K begins to believe that his childhood dream may come true. But even so, he seeks more evidence and gets it by checking the DNA files of every child born on June the 10th, 2021. 2 children were born on that date with the same DNAs. Impossible, meaning that someone wanted one of the children to disappear. And just like that, K's lifelong dream of having a soul becomes palpable, and even more so when he goes to the orphanage where both of the children were processed. There is also an old abandoned tanker with a furnace at the orphanage, and just so happens that K finds a wooden horse in this furnace. Still more tangible evidence that his childhood memory of putting the wooden horse there may be real. But needing conclusive evidence, K stops by the memory lab to get designer Anna Steline to scan his childhood memories. As a teenager, he nearly drowned in the ocean, but as unpleasant as his memory is, it did not stop him from going back to the ocean, a sure sign of a memory implant. She scans another childhood memory of him hiding a wooden horse in a furnace, but unlike his memory of drowning in the ocean, this memory is real and a shock to her due to the fact that it is illegal to implant real memories. Only constructed memories can be implanted. However, neither K nor Anna are aware that his memory is her memory, copied, regenerated, and implanted into his brain. Even so, K feels and acts like the memory is his, and no longer feels the need to conceal his emotions on his next baseline test.
You're not even close to baseline.
And no longer does he feel the need to hide his true emotions from Joshi, because he is a born replicant, not a created one, and they are now on equal terms.
What the fuck is with you?
K undergoes a complete emotional and spiritual turnaround after Anna tells him what he always wanted to hear, that his memory of the wooden horse is real and that he has a soul. However, as Niander, Wallace makes a replica of Rachael to make Deckard question whether she really loved him or whether she was programmed to love him.
Don't you love me?
Following Joy's death, Kay sees a giant holographic projection of Joy as an ad, and this version of Joy also calls him Joe, which causes him to question whether Joy really loved him or whether she was programmed to love him. But even worse than doubt is the truth coming out of the mouth of an old woman. Fraser, leader of the replicant freedom movement, helped Sapper Morton deliver Rachel's baby girl, and just like that, Kay's dream of having a soul is destroyed. He wasn't the one. Niander's replica of Rachael is perfect in every way, exactly like the original, authentic, incomparably. When Kay sees the holographic projection of Joy at the end of the film, he remembers how he felt when Anna Stelline told him that his childhood memory of the wooden horse was real. And even though the memory wasn't his, Kay's belief that the memory was his made him feel good about himself, made him feel confident, made him believe that he had a soul, and made him feel special. No two people have the same experiences. No two people can stand in the same spot at the same time. No two people have the same DNA. And for this reason, the only person we will ever know is ourselves. And the only feelings we will ever know are our own. If Rachael can be mass produced, how can Deckard ever know that she was real and not a clone? And Joy, if she was only a computer program, and if another version of her called him Joe, as she did, how can Kate ever know that her love for him was real and not part of her program? We all experience the world and our feelings alone. And if love is truly unconditional, then doesn't Deckard's and Kay's belief that they were loved make Rachael and Joy real?
You love me, Bobby.
What do you think?
Here's a few things you may or may not know about Blade Runner 2049. Did you know that the clone of Rachel's character in the sequel was created by superimposing Sean Young's likeness onto actress Lauren Pater, and that Sean Young coached the actress on how to walk and move like Rachael? Did you know that director Denis Villeneuve's first choice to play Niander Wallace was David Bowie, who died before the film's production? And speaking of Niander Wallace, did you know that actor Jared Leto wore opaque contact lenses that made him completely blind like his character, and that he chose to navigate the movie set this way with an assistant? In fact, Leto fused himself so completely with his character that the director was moved to tears and confessed that seeing Leto this way was like seeing Jesus walking into a temple. Did you know that Harrison Ford accidentally punched Ryan Gosling in the face in their fight scene at the casino?
I like this song.
Did you know that the words and phrases
Cells.
interlinked and interlinked within cells are based on an acting exercise called dropping in, and that they were added to the interrogation scene by Ryan Gosling? Did you know that the film's Best Cinematography Award was Roger Deakins' first Oscar out of 14 nominations? Anyway, thanks for watching my analysis of director Denis Villeneuve's 2017 cyberpunk dystopian neo-noir thriller Blade Runner 2049, and be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the Godfather of Cinema, and hit the bell for more film-related videos like this one. I will see you soon.